to it. Is it too easy? I made this shit look too easy.
Today we're going to be reacting to black people abandon children, then get mad when a white guy adopts them. I'm very curious to see how this plays out. But real quick, I want to thank you guys again for all the love and support you've been showing on the channel, bro. The numbers have been going absolutely insane. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, but most importantly, hit that notification bell, because right now we are in a post-a-thon, dropping 3 videos a day, every single day for the rest of March. So it takes 2 seconds and you'll never miss a video. Now let's get right to it.
I waited a week for this, and the only reason I waited a week is because you can't really go and have a reaction based on one thing. You gotta marinate it a little bit. You gotta wait for all the stink to get on all the proper meat so that can be nice and tender, and that's what I got. Cliff Notes time. A UFC fighter decided it'd be a great idea to expand his family, and he adopted a bunch of kids, black kids, and when asked about it, he said this.
I'm not raising black children. I'm raising children.
Is it Frozen? Oh.
I'm not raising black men. I'm raising men. And whether you are black or you are white, no matter what race that you are, there are certain things about being a man and being a good man when it comes to character and integrity and safeguarding the helpless and sticking up for those who need it and being a good man of reputation.
Right off the rip, this guy sounds like a very, 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 very respectable individual. Like, I've got a lot of respect for that. I have no pushback for anything this guy's saying.
None of that has to do with skin color.
And of course, when you are someone who is not black doing anything that would be viewed as positive that involves the black youth, a bunch of the for the people individuals get very upset, and it produced a lot of opinions that really should make a lot of sense to people who want to pull up statistics from back when Jim Crow was king, but now it's just about a motherfucker choosing to do or not do.
Why do white people adopt black children?
Shut the fuck up. You could just hear it in her voice, and it's just like, bro, I don't even need to watch the rest of this video to tell you how ignorant it is. It's like, bro, I get it. I get it. I get the resentment that some black people have, but it's like, you're talking about kids that were in an orphanage. Black, white, purple, green, red. The kids were in an orphanage, meaning they had no parenting, meaning that they had no father, mother figure in their lives. And we're not just talking about any individual. We're talking about someone that has a successful fighting career. So he's financially, at least from just a financial situation, they have shit figured out. And we're mad that he's adopting kids that were in the orphanage. Forget the black, forget the white, forget the purple, forget the red. Come on, man. What are we talking about? It's really sad to see, you know, our people tear our people down. And these are kids we're talking about. We're not even talking about adults. These are kids that just found a home. Look how happy they are. Look at this motherfucker. These little niggas right here. He was in the orphanage. Look at that smile. What are we even talking about? Why are we upset?
It's a real question for me. Why do white people adopt black children and then say things like, I'm not raising black children, I'm raising children? Oh, are you? So this is UFC fighter Michael Chandler, and this is his wife. They've adopted 2 black children, and he recently did an interview where he stated he's not raising black children, he's raising children. And while I understand that he thinks that he means well by creating this piece of, I don't see color, let me tell you why that's a problem. Even though you claim that you and your wife don't see color, the world does.
I mean, that's true, bro, but you're missing the point. You're missing the point.
This is America. And so when those children look at you, there's going to be, this can be problematic because it ignores the racial and cultural identity of the child. By not acknowledging the child's racial background, you're going to inadvertently neglect certain aspects of their identity, which is black.
Bro, again, I hear what she's saying, and there's an argument to be had there, but the act, well, let me take that back. There's just, that's really a situation where you just cross that bridge when you get there. I don't care who's mad at me right now for saying this. These are kids that were in an orphanage, meaning they had no father, no mother figure. I don't know what the lore behind it is, but they had no parents. And now they are within a home with two parents. I'm not going to get into the nitty and gritty and start researching who these individuals are. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're good people with good intentions. Are there going to be some bumps in the road? Yes. Yes, there's going to be some bumps in the road. When these guys get older, they're probably going to, there's going to be some type of disconnect between the fact that they are black kids and these are white people. But big fucking deal. It's kind of like, I'm not saying it's not important, but we all have bullshit that we have to deal with in our lives. We all have controversy within our families. I'm sure you have something going on within your family that you're not necessarily proud of. That your people, what your skin color, your uncle, your auntie, somebody in your family doesn't necessarily understand you. Shit, you might want to do something creative and your parents don't necessarily align with your ideas and ideals. It's a part of growing up. So again, are they going to have some type of disconnect at some point down the line? Sure. But to just sit here and just kind of like, it's like, what was the alternative then? What's the kind of the argument that you're trying to make? The alternative is just they shouldn't have adopted them. They can only be adopted if the parents were black. It's like, come on, man. You guys are nitpicking. You guys are kind of you're saying then you would have rather these kids stay within the orphanage. Is that what you're alluding to? I don't want to believe that's what you're alluding to, but think before you speak. It's just like, what are we even talking about?
You're going to neglect their experiences. You're going to neglect what they may go through when they get out in the real world because they will not be treated like you. So when you say that you're not raising black children, you're only raising children, how are you going to explain to them when they get treated different in the schools that you put them in, when they get treated different out in society, when they get treated different in the workplace? How are you going to explain that to them? Is race going to come up then?
Maybe, probably, most likely it will. Most likely it will. Holy shit. Some people are just so like, bro, sometimes it's like brain numbing to watch some people speak, bro. And I know I'm not the best speaker. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm Mr. Perfect, but just damn, bro. Can people just do a good thing without it having to have some evil ulterior motives? Like, damn.
Another reason why I don't understand why white people adopt black children is because a lot of times white people are not around a lot of black people, right? And so you're only going to have these black children around other white people. And I'm just assuming here, I don't know him personally, but I'm just saying for the most part, whenever we see white celebrities adopt black children, they have them within their group of friends, right? All white people. When they're not just, even though you're raising them, you want to expose them to their own culture. Do you have any black friends?
Bro, again, I hear you, but what the fuck are we talking about? You're mad that these kids got adopted. And you're bringing up all these hypotheticals of things that may or may not happen down the line. But the fact of the matter is, these kids got adopted and they now have a home. She really genuinely would have rather these kids stay in the orphanage. That's all I'm hearing, bro.
Friends. Is there any type of...
Because they're going to be whitewashed as fucking kids. Bro, I guarantee you, these are not going to be the first black kids that are whitewashed. We got black kids that are grown up with black parents that are whitewashed. What do you think happens to all the super rich black people that get rich and they move into rich neighborhoods and they put them in private schools with all the rich friends? Okay. Tomato, tomato, my nigga. And these are black people. Who cares? I'm not saying that it's completely irrelevant, but they're just gonna have to cross that bridge when they get there. The most important thing is these niggas have a home now.
Cultural significance you can give these children, any shows, any areas, any schools, anything to show them somebody who looks like them and not just like you. When these children grow up, or what we see most of the time, when these children end up growing up, they feel lost in the world and they don't know where they fit in.
All the kids feel lost.
Because on one side of the spectrum, you really don't fit in with the black population because you've been raised as white, even though you are black.
This is like as old as the argument where the black kid that grew up. I mean, I literally just said the black kid that grew up in the suburbs. The black people don't want to accept him because he's not street enough. It's like, hey man, at some point we got to get over this shit. Because why are we just? Now let me say this because I don't want to be misconstrued. Something that I overall think is negative is that black people have to be street to be accepted by their people. It's kind of like the same narrative with, that's what it is. It's like there's a lot of black people that feel like, oh, you're not black enough because you grew up having. And it's like, I get why we're here. There's a lot of trauma that we had to deal with and, within our culture. And it's just like, I understand the resentment, man, but if you're black and you grew up street, you grew up with struggle, you grew up without having, isn't your ultimate goal to level the fuck up and change that for your seeds? I want my kids, if they're going to have struggle in life, I want my kids to have the struggle of having. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean I'm not going to try to teach them to be humble and respect people. That doesn't mean I'm not going to go through all that. But it's just like, what are we talking about here? If we're going to pick struggles, are you not going to pick the situation where the kids are in a better opportunity to make something out of themselves? So again, this is just another scenario of somebody who's just bitter to the fact that these people are just not black. They're not black, bro. These kids are probably gonna grow up whitewashed. Yeah, they're probably gonna use slang and hey Jamal. They're probably gonna be dorks. Maybe, I don't fucking know. But it's like, look at that smile though, man. That nigga was in the orphanage not too long ago. I mean, he looked like he's a little bit too young to understand some shit. But look, that kid is happy, bro. And what I pray and hope, the more important conversation is that these two are just two great people that are, great parents and are going to continue to be great parents and provide and show these kids a great life and teach them great morals and values. That's the important conversation. Now, if you were saying that this was a violent guy and he has a bad history or something, which I don't know to be true or false, right? But I'm just giving a hypothetical here. If that was the conversation, it's like, okay, maybe there should be a rule that people that are, I don't know, felons or some shit shouldn't be able to adopt children. And that's just off the top, random scenario. But like, okay, that would make some sense. But come on, bro. A successful person. I'm yapping in circles, man. I'm gonna let this shit play. My bad, y'all. It just got me worked up. This shit don't make no sense.
And on the other side of the spectrum, you're around all these white people and they don't 100% accept you because at the end of the day, you're black. So with all of these complexities,
you should have just left them in the fucking orphanage.
Why would you not
left them in the orphanage
or raise your children as black children to prepare them the best that you can in the world? This I don't see color mentality does more harm than good, Because while you claim you don't see color, we know you do. And that's not a bad thing. That's not to say that anybody's racist or anything like that. But when people claim that they don't see color, you do. Because you're not blind. Everybody sees color. I'm looking at this picture right here and I see a white wife and a white husband and black children. So everybody sees color. And guess what? When they go out in the world is also going to see color. So I hope all the backlash that you've been getting for that interview that you did will enlighten you and your wife a little bit to open up your mind and give these children the best upbringing, because we know monetarily you can. We know monetarily you're going to give them the best life that they can have. They're probably going to go to the best schools, best food, best area. That's all fine and dandy.
He's going to be a whitewashed black kid. But he'll have the best resources, but we're upset. I mean, fuck. Again, I'm not saying bro don't, get back in touch with his people. That's not what I'm alluding to here. But again, what are we ranting about, man? What the fuck are we talking about?
But make sure you don't slip on that mental health. Because by raising them as not black children is going to psychologically mess them up.
I got a question. Why are there so many black children that need to be adopted? My second question is, why do you care who adopts them and what color they are as long as they love that child and raise them right? And last,
I didn't like how he started that. Why are there so many black children that need to be adopted? I mean, I don't know if that's a fact or non-fact, but it's just kind of like, that didn't feel right. But look, man, it's deeper. It's a lot deeper than wrong is wrong. And anyone that skates out on their kids, it's not right. You know what I mean? Unless you are deceased or some crazy freak scenario that I'm sure in some freak one in a lifetime scenario where that just had to be the reality, then it is what it is, right? But black people have been dealing with like, y'all gotta understand, if you really think about, black people getting their rights and just this whole change, it really wasn't that long ago, bro. You go back just 50 years and life looked a lot different for black people. You know what I mean? You go back just another 60 years, like, your grandma, your grandma, your grandpas, when they were teenagers, maybe 10, 12 years old, like, life looked a lot different. It really wasn't that long ago where we was going through different shit. So it's like, I'm not gonna sit here and give y'all a whole history lesson, but now in 2025, when it's just now starting within the last 20, 30 years where black people are starting to kind of rise to success and be able to, black people are able to create businesses and be millionaires and kind of really be able to provide for their families in the same way that white people can. I feel like as time goes on, we are slowly going to see everything kind of just even out to a place where, yeah, it's not really so much about black and white, because we're all here being able to win on an even playing field. I think that's the direction we're heading in. But we're not that far removed from what our people had to endure. And I think that's why so much black people have resentment for situations like this, where it's like, again, on a surface level, it's easy to just get triggered, but it's like, I feel like it only does more harm to continue not to acknowledge our history. The smartest thing you can do as a black person is be, aware of what our people have gone through and, understand it. To be ignorant to it would be ignorant. But when you start nitpicking down to a situation where, let's just look at it for what it is. These kids were in the orphanage. They did not have parents. And to top it off, the people that adopted these kids are rich and successful individuals. And I'm just going to go ahead and give them the benefit of doubt that they are good people with love in their hearts that are willing to do what it takes to raise these kids the right way, right? We're going to give them that. I don't know them, but let's just, within the context, it looks like they have all the right intentions. Why are we going to go out of our way to tear those people down? I just don't think that's cool, bro. I just don't think that's cool. Let's hear what the rest of this guy has to say. But, you know, again, just coming off of the top of what he just said, it's like, you, as a white person, I feel like you don't have a right to say that. Why? Like, just shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? But the same energy is directed to the lady that was just speaking, because it's just like, you're being negative. So just shut the fuck up. Everybody just needs to shut the fuck up. Mind your business. That's what everyone needs to do. Just mind their fucking business.
Lastly, I see color. But when I see a little baby, I don't go, oh, look at that little white baby, or look at that little black baby. These are babies. They haven't been filled with ignorance yet. Let them babies be babies and grow up to be good people.
Because of white people and white saviorism. The child welfare industry in the United States is built off of systemic oppression. Our own government recognizes that racism and bias plays a huge role in why there are so many Black and Indigenous children in the system.
You can't sit here and articulate a point that a lot of people would tend to understand with a bunch of your bigoted nature about another skin color. I could understand statistics and how individuals are predominantly in the center of a certain issue, but my response to the here and now is what will propel a bunch of motherfuckers with this skin color to say, let's change that a little bit. And I can even understand the want to have children who are Black understand the world outside of family values of what's being taught to them. Because you can teach a child all these things under the sun, but once they go outside and experience life, some things can be a little bit different. So I could walk with you a little bit on that. I just have a unique problem with a bunch of people seemingly upset at a white guy adopting Black children, and their response is to bitch, moan, groan, complain, and do anything else other than, oh, I don't know, adopt those Black children so that you could grow up with them and teach them all the things about how the cops are gonna hunt them down as soon as they step one Reebok out the fucking door. But you know what? With stupidity creates the ultimate opportunity. And I am glad that I now realize more and more that my seed of common sense has been inseminated across the world because, of course, people saw this dumbass reaction, and of course, people saw the dumbass reactions to the dumbass reaction, and they decided to provide a little bit of perspective that a lot of you, for the people, individuals, seemingly don't want to understand. And yes, it came from Black people.
Because you keep throwing them away. Maybe if Black mothers would stop having random children with random men without being married and having a family to keep that child in, there wouldn't be so many Black children to adopt. Also, while you're on the internet running your mouth, how many children can you adopt?
Facts.
Probably zero, because you don't qualify, because you have to have a family.
Facts.
You have to be financially sound.
Facts.
See, this is how the process works. First, they reach out to the immediate family, any blood relatives, and try to get somebody to take that child.
Nobody showed up.
Then they try to find a child with a family they can connect with.
Nobody showed up.
That didn't work. And they had no choice but to put the child with a white tea family who was willing to take the child.
And luckily it's a rich one. So now he has a better shot at shit. Better shot at flipping the situation and being a successful Black man.
So instead of asking why are white tea people adopting Black people, why don't you ask, why are there so many Black children up for adoption? Aren't y'all the most educated? Aren't y'all making the most money that any other group of Black women have ever made? So why aren't you adopting Black babies?
So the person who stitched this, his response to this original video was, dang, he ate her up. Like, are we not going to say anything? Are we not going to respond? And I have a response, but it's more questions for the original creators. So here they go. Question number 1. Why do we actively attack people who are willing and wanting to take in a child? Any child, doesn't matter what their race is, a child who is in need of a home. I'm not sure if people understand the foster care system and how it works, but if a child does not get adopted and they're in the foster care system, they stay there until they turn 18. And then after 18, they're out on their own. No
Homeless.
Family, no backup plan, nothing. They're literally out on the streets to fend for themselves. So why? Why would we want a child to stay in foster care because the family is not Black or the same race as them that wants to adopt them? Why is it so bad to have a child live with, be with, a part of a family?
That's the only conversation that needs to be had, bro. That's the only conversation that needs to be had. And, you know, with that being said, I don't want to cut the video short. It's pretty interesting, but it's like, I feel like everyone's just saying what I already said. It's like, why are we going to tear down the fact that these kids just got an opportunity at having a family? It's the most important thing, bro. Yes, we can nitpick about this, and that, but a successful guy, forget that he's white, a successful man with a wife, 2-parent household, decided that I'm going to adopt these kids and give them an opportunity to have a family. Conversation stops there, bro. Like, and yes, when they get older, they will cross some bridges and there will be some navigating to do on both ends, as the child and as the parent. And I'm sure they will cross that bridge when it gets there. And it might be a little weird. But what family hasn't had that with the same skin color? You know what I'm saying? We've all had some awkward conversations with our parents. It's a blessing, because some kids don't even have parents to have that conversation with at all. My name's Berto. Y'all let me know what you guys think about this one. It's a pretty controversial topic, but I don't even think it's that controversial. I mean, it's controversial if you're just looking to be upset about something. So, but I'm curious to see what y'all think. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Where you at, Berto?